catch up on the call. Honestly,
there we go. Because we are live. What's up, Mr. Chandler?
Bro, I've just been I was actually on a call with a client doing some ad work right before this, but life's been good, man. Keeping it simple. Been training. Kind of hurt I got this like IT band thing going on with my knee, so been rehabbing that this week. That way I can
do you like Step Brothers? Do you like the movie Step Brothers?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I love the scene. There's so many scenes in it that I love. Which one are you referring to?
You know what helps knee pain?
What? John helps knee pain. What?
Dude, you don't remember that scene from Step Brothers?
No, I got like blowjobs or something, but I don't remember.
No, he said if you lick my butthole, that's what helps for shoulder pain.
I don't.
So you posted something on social media the other day I want to talk about, and I wanted to talk about it because it is very top of mind for me, which is if your business, you said something like, I don't know what the exact story was, but if you're ROI positive, your business is making money. I don't know exactly what it was. Something like,
I remember closely what I said. I said if you're profitable, making money, and you wonder why you're stuck, then like you just usually need to do more. And then get more. I said you need more leads, more appointments, and then solve the problems that come along with that.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about that because it's so funny. I had something similar come up. I had a client, and I'll keep the name anonymous, just because, so I can actually tell the exact story. She was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like my team's not closing deals, and like we're not making as much money as we want to." And like I pull up, all right, let's pull up your KPIs. And obviously the first thing that I want to look at is just what's your ROAS and what's your profitability. And she was at like an 8x ROAS and like a 40% profitability, like 38% profitability. And the crazy thing was, she was paying her team like a big commissions. Like I'll just say that, like 40% or something crazy like that. Yes. And I was just like, dude, you got an 8x ROAS. Like your team is closing deals. If you got an 8x ROAS, you just got to do more. And sometimes businesses get stuck there, man. They're like, they have really good ROAS and they're extremely profitable. They're like 60, 70%. They're like, man, why can't I scale? I'm like, I don't know. Have you tried just doing more of what you're already doing, and then that will scale until something breaks?
Dude,
is that where that came from, or where did that come from for you?
Dude, basically, so I had one. I think you always overcomplicate things in your head, like on business when it comes to that. And I was like, we had a good month last month on sales in the last 2 months, and I was like, you know why? And I was like, oh, it's probably because we just got more calls, spent more money on marketing, and closed more. It's like not very complicated at the end of the day. And and of course there's problems that come with that. And then like, I talked to a couple people who were like, kind of in that same boat where they're like, damn, like I'm not sure how to grow. I'm like, well, how much you spend on marketing? How much you making? And they're like, oh, like, 5,000,
2K,
50K.
Spend 2K. I spend 2K and I made 20K a month.
Yeah, exactly. This exact type of person. Like that's who I talk to like most of the time. And I'm like, have you thought about like spending more? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, you should fucking just do that. And they're like, it's gotta be something better than that. And I'm like, no, dude, there's not a fucking silver bullet. You just got to do more and figure it out.
Yeah. The trick for people, I will say this, the struggle that a lot of wholesalers will run into is cash conversion cycle. So like if you're at that, the 20K a month mark is a death wish for wholesalers. Like even honestly under 50K a month is like you're in a death wish, because what happens at that range is you're only closing 2 deals a month, but sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 0, and sometimes it's 1. So it's all over the place. So then you have to front money with a little bit of uncertainty, with a little bit of volatility. So like you can, and it's easy when you're on the outside going, dude, you every time you spend $10,000, you end up making 50. So just spend $10,000 a month.
Like this when you're doing it.
Yeah.
you go 2 or 3 weeks with like nothing, like no good leads or no good appointments, and then boom, all of a sudden you close 2 or 3.
Yeah. And then exactly. And so
And then you're like, I'm
that is
zero.
yeah, that is a lot of that can be negated with a really good process, but
Totally.
it is the scary part for people. It's the scary part you have to break through is one, when you get a big check, you have to be really smart with it. So when you have like every wholesaler, you're at it for long enough, you're going to get eventually, maybe if sometimes it takes you 3 weeks, sometimes it takes you 3 years to do this, you'll have a big month. Like
100K.
If you stick in it for long enough, you will. And then how you reinvest that money really matters, right? And so like, there's a big portion that needs to go to improving your skills so you can get to that next level, but also like some people will just bleed their businesses out. So like they have a process that works, and instead of going, okay, well, I've got 40K from this deal, and I'm going to spend, 10K a month for the next 3 months to really ramp up my business and take it to that next level. They'll be like, I'm going to spend 4K a month for the next 10 months, no matter what. And they're just they're like slowly bleeding themselves dry because they're creating that inconsistency just because of the level of volume they're at. So I do think that is a really tough spot.
Yeah.
Unless you are really confident. Like I blew through that phase in my business. And I'm very well aware of what this phase looks like because I coach people and I see them. I see when they come on, I see that they've been stuck for a while. So I've been able to see it. But for me, like I was like, okay, I got to fucking dial in my skills. And then I was like, all right, perfect. I'm good at closing. Nobody's going to close better than me. And then I had a big month and I just was like, fuck yeah, 30K a month. That's what's going back into ads. And I was like, once you're confident in your skill set, then in your processes, then you can comfortably reinvest, 10, 20, 30K a month. And that's what takes your business to the actual next level. You have to front it. You have to front that with some uncertainty.
You have to front it, and you have to, like, I have this conversation with people all the time that are stuck at like 5K a month in spend. And that's literally where, because it's like you're making enough to live, especially if you have like a family and stuff. Like you're making enough to live, but you're not making enough to like have extra
thrive.
Time.
Yeah. You're kind of like paycheck to paycheck at that point, and it's scary.
It is scary, and like especially with how uncertain real estate is, right? But you just have to fucking nut up and get start spending 10, 15K a month. You just have to get to that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like once you get past like 10 or 15,000, you kind of, if you're good, you kind of get to the point where you're like, now you have extra money coming in, and you can reinvest that back in depending on like, your business and everything. Cause once you're spending like 10K a month, you're going to do like 500-600K a year, and you should be making like 250, 300 kind of from that perspective. And then from there, like you said, you can go up once you get up to 20, 30. Now you're definitely not going to you shouldn't do less than 100K a month, and you should be making, good money.
Yeah. But one of the things that those people will get stuck in is just this loop. It's this toxic loop, bro. So they're spending 5K a month and they're like, well, I don't want to spend any more because I have so much uncertainty that what if I spend the money and the deals aren't going to close? And I'm also not really that confident in my business. Like that's usually a big thing is they lack confidence. They lack confidence on the phone. They lack confidence with their processes.
They also don't have clarity on the numbers. They probably don't track KPIs. They don't know what the fuck's going on, really.
They're not tracking KPIs. And so the funny thing is they'll be like, okay, well, I'm not comfortable, but I'm also not going to invest into figuring that problem out and solving that. Bro. So I'm just going to stay stuck, like instead of being like, all right, I'm not confident. Let me fix that. Let me fix the fact that I don't know my KPIs.
Whether you're going to fucking spend the money or not to pay someone, I think you should spend the money and pay someone if it's really that big of an issue. But at least fucking binge watch every damn YouTube video online.
Like figure out your numbers. Yeah,
figure out your numbers and like, because okay, for example, I was talking to this guy right like today. He just signed up. We're helping him with coaching and scaling. He's the exact person. Did 250K, 260K last year. Great profit margins, making a lot of money. He's doing texting. He started doing PPL as well. Like maybe like last month he paid like whatever. It doesn't matter. He's doing really good on SMS. He spends like 2K a month, does like 20K. And I was like, well, bro, like, why don't you, I know it's not the most convenient channel because you have a lot of leads to a deal, but if if you're going to do it, you should just, why don't you, like, and you're already doing PPL, you're doing inbound. You just need to keep doing SMS so that inbound's an addition. If you stop doing SMS like you are, then you're going to spend money on PPL and it might work, it might not. It's like a complete guess.
Yeah.
And he's like in the exact spot where he's like, well, I never thought of, he's like, I've thought about it, but I've never really wanted to, he's like, I never really thought about it because I didn't really want to solve the problem. And and I was like, I get it, but it's just,
I don't get it.
You have to go through it. He's like, because it's hard, it's going to be a bitch. I'm like, no matter what you do, it's going to be hard. Like,
oh, dude, this is, it's funny.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this here before, but I've had this conversation on one-on-ones over and over. It's like, I've had these people come on the one-on-ones and I'm like, dude, fuck yeah. Like you doubled your conversions. Like your lead to deal just got cut in half. He's like, and I'll have people that are like, yeah, but like now I'm like constantly trying to fucking deal with escrows and I'm spending all my time right now talking to sellers and talking to buyers. And I'm like, yeah, you got more deals. So now you're going to have to talk to more people and you're going to have to sell those deals. And then you're going to get to that point, and then eventually you're going to have to hire people, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, but there's like, I've got freaking 300 people in Wise Hire that I have to go through, and I have to sift through all these people, man. Just, yeah. Yeah, that's working, bro. That's how you fucking solve problems inside of your business, like, I love the Hormozy thing. I was watching a clip from him the other day where this lady was like, I paused my business. I wanted to figure out exactly what we're going to do. And she was like thinking about going from like some sort of tax strategy to like selling info or something. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, he's like, dude, you're not going to go to info and it's going to not suck. Info sucks as well. Like it all sucks, mm-hmm. right? You just gotta understand that it sucks and keep doing it. Mm-hmm. And it's so true, bro. Like everything does suck, right? Like even both sides, like because we both run info businesses. We coach people, and we have wholesaling businesses, and
about all of it, bro.
Everything sucks, and we can be like, oh yeah, let me go get into software. Okay, it's gonna suck for a long time. It's like, go get into this. Everything's gonna suck. And so, but the way I look at it, we were talking about this last week, is you're fucking sitting in front of your computer working anyway. Why not just work on harder shit that's going to make you more money? It's not like I get it if it's like, man, it's between doing this and like going hanging out with my family and going on vacations. But like, dude, you're going to work. Just do the hard shit. Don't do easy shit if you're sitting in front of a computer. Do the hard shit.
It's also not like we're digging holes, It's not like it's not like we're digging holes out here. We're staring at a computer screen and like talking to people and like typing. You might be typing a document and be like, all right, how do I handle this objection every time? And then just fucking say it out loud on a Zoom call to each other,
Yeah.
It's not like we're out here fucking sword fighting in the yard in the Rome Coliseum.
Yeah. We're not UFC fighters or doing anything. Yeah, our job is actually really easy. Like working in front of a computer in a temperature controlled room is extremely easy. Like if you think about it that way.
You sad bitch. You have to sit down all day
and figure out how to track your numbers.
Yeah.
You have to figure out how to overcome a think about it objection.
What's hard is the discipline. It's the discipline to actually just do it. It's not the doing the work's not the hard part. It's like doing the work. It's because if you just like let your mind go free, you'd be like, everyone's ADHD. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just how it works. But to just be like, I'm going to enter my KPIs every week. I'm going to review them every month. I'm going to do it on the first Monday of every month. I'm going to do it on Monday every single day. I'm blocked out. I'm going to get it done. That's the hard part, I
mean, it's not technically hard, but yeah, I get it. It's like,
what I mean?
It's very easy to go in there and go, I've always found that the thing that's gotten me through that stuff is just to think, okay, well, I only have to do this until I can afford to hire someone to do it for me. And so the faster that I can get this done, the faster I could break through this level, the faster I don't have to do this shit anymore. And so, like, for example, I don't really take a lot of seller calls anymore. And I love sales, but I do not like getting the dial button. Do, I don't like doing that. So like I like when my reps have a deal that's on the line, I can hop in and help close it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because I'm not sitting there in the CRM going dial, updating my notes. Like that, I had to do it for a really long time, but it's not like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
And so the way I got through it is I was like, all right, I only have to do this until I have a big enough marketing budget to hire somebody to do this as well. And until I'm proficient enough to be able to train somebody. Do you guys do lives every week? Yes, we try to. We don't go every week, but we've
been on like since Christmas. I think we've done it every week.
Yeah. How does your sales process differ for cold call leads? Framing is the biggest thing, Leslie. So like if it's an inbound lead, I might ask them, hey, what was it about the conversation that caused you to want to do this, to look into this further? If it's an outbound lead, obviously I can't say that. So I just frame it different. So if I'm going to ask the seller, like, why are you looking to sell? I would say something like, hey, I know we called you out of the blue, and I'm sure you get calls on this all the time. So what was it that caused you to maybe want to have a further conversation about this? I'll change the frame so it's not, why are you looking to sell? And then they just say, oh, well, you called me. I will handle those at the beginning. Also, the pattern interrupt at the beginning of a cold call has to be way stronger because people are more likely to hang up on you if you don't pattern interrupt the shit out of them. So I have videos. If you go look up on this YouTube channel, there's something called, I don't know, it's called something like $1 cold call script versus NEPQ script, cold call script. And I go over my cold call script and I go over the shitty ones too that I pulled online. Yeah, work until you make enough money to hire what you don't like. Yeah, 100%.
John, I have a question for you. When you go through and like a cold call, I think it's an interesting maybe think of this. How deep because like let's say someone's like, you ask them how do you want to visit this further? They give you like a very surface level answer. Just kind of like, oh, I don't know. You call me, you get these calls all the time. Just kind of curious to see like how y'all's process works. Someone says that. How deep are you gonna go? Like if they just keep giving you non-answers, like
this like, largely depends on your.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it largely depends on your goal and like and the amount of leads that you have. So if I have like a brand new list that I feel like is like, okay, I need to really be careful with my time, and I have a shitload of data, I have a shitload of marketing dollars. If somebody says like, oh yeah, I was just kind of curious about your process, right? I would probably go into, okay, cool. What had you curious in the first place other than us calling you? And they're like, I don't know, just role play with me. I'll tell you where I would pass off. So yeah, cool. What had you curious in the first place?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, like I see these people all the time. I've considered selling my house cash, consider listing my property.
Yeah.
You want to see how it would work.
Yeah, and just so I know, like both options are good. What's the main reason that you'd even consider going the cash route versus just listing it on the market?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and then I can see how you could pull out some pain because like right there, I want to either go a direction of like, fuck you. Yeah. I just want to, like not motivated. I'd be nice not to pay realtor commissions and just be done with it, not have to do showings and stuff.
Or that's still like, motivation to me. Oh, I just want like that's still motivation because then you just told me that you have a reason why you want to sell. You're like, oh, I just don't want to pay the realtor commissions. Cool. And just out of curiosity, do you like the house? No, I don't like it. Oh, cool. What don't you like about it? Well, this, and that. And what are you looking for in your next property? Like I'll start building a gap right there if they give me something. The only time I'll really cut somebody off is if they're like I'm going to basically disqualify them is if they're like, yeah, honestly, I don't want to sell the property. I really like it. I like everything about it. I would only sell if you made me an offer that was way above market value, that like it was like a make me move type of offer.
Yeah.
But I don't want to.
Yeah. But even if they're like, I'd sell it for, whatever it's worth minus the commissions, that's still worth it to call and to talk to you. And then I guess at that point, if I say that, when are you going to like actually proceed to setting the appointment with that person or like giving them an offer? Like what kind of has to transpire? Because I feel like in my opinion, I would need more proof from you to be like, hey, it's like, this is like worth my time to give you an offer. If you're just like only looking, but it depends on the service that they're kind of looking for. Like, what do they actually want in an offer would be what I would.
I just need to find a problem that I can solve. So like, for example, if I said something along the lines of like you said, oh, I want to sell without real estate commissions and just get it done a little bit faster. I'd be like, okay, cool. And And what has you even looking into this in the first place? Or if this is a cold call, I would reframe that. Yeah, but why even have a conversation about this in the first place? Like, why not just hang up on me? Like, I'm sure you do some of the other people. They're like, oh, because of this, and this is the reason. And so at that point, if they're like, oh, because I would much rather live in a nicer neighborhood. How do you mean by nicer? Right? Oh, I'd rather just get out of this property. What do you mean by that? Like, I'll go deeper. If they're like, if they continue to hit me with, I don't want to sell, then I'm not going to go deeper. Right? Like, they're like, I really do like the property. I like everything about it. I don't want to sell it. I would sell it if you gave me a ridiculous offer. That's the fork I'm trying to decide. I'm trying to decide, do you want to sell? Do you have an actual problem that I can solve? Or do you want to keep it? Because if you want to keep it, yeah, it's not worth me. If I'm cold calling somebody that wants to keep their property, maybe they just legitimately want to keep the property. Now, if they're in foreclosure, that's a different scenario, right? But if I just called like a freaking tired landlord list and they were like, yeah, I love the tenants. They're great. They've been there for 15 years. It's cash flowing. It's paid off. I don't have to manage it at all. It's great. I might ask, yeah, it sounds like things are going fairly well for you. Why would you even have this conversation in the first place? Honestly, again, I don't want to sell. I'm like, all right, cool. If you don't want to sell, I'm not going to convince you.
Yeah, but most people are going to be like, well, I kind of want to talk about it because like I'm getting old and whatever. Insert other.
Yeah.
Probably Palestine. The thanks,
dude, you're getting hit on in the comments.
Shit, I'm getting,
bro. You're getting rizzed up, baby.
Watch out.
So they're like, yeah, I don't really want to deal with the tenants anymore. Like, that's a good enough reason for me to go deeper on that. Now I'm going to build a gap.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think where most people mess up is like, because like here, this is what do you think about this? Like, I think to a degree, a lot of people kind of want to get pitched, even if they aren't like that close. But and they maybe won't give you everything up front. But then once you pitch them, then they will start to motivation after. You find that to be true?
Yeah, I find it. I find that giving a number can often break down the walls, especially if you're not very good at breaking down walls. Like, sometimes you give a number and then they're like, yeah, you know what? I'd consider that. And you're like, okay, well, why? I'm like, well, and they tell you the real reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think at the very least, when you're starting out, especially like real estate job, I don't know how to say that, but she asked a question, what's a good way to get your first deal if you don't have a marketing budget but you got time to call? I'm trying to get everybody on the phone to an offer. That's my goal there. So that's why I said it depends on your goal. Like, I'm trying to get my first deal and I don't have a big marketing budget. Man, I'm just trying to get an offer to every single person and I'm trying to make them want to hear my offer. If I've got a $30K a month budget and I have a cold call list, then I'm probably going to go focus on the speed a little bit more. And so, like, have you ever watched the Closer Olympics by any chance? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I've watched them, but it's been a while.
So people ask me all the time, like, John, why don't you go on the Closer Olympics and you do that? And I tell them, like, bro, I would lose because the way that I sell is not going to be based on speed. It's going to be based on efficiency. And so, like, I don't sell the speed route. I don't go, all right, cool. How much are you looking to get for it? And if they tell me a number I like, I continue. And if they tell me a number I don't, I tell them to go list with a realtor.
Yeah.
That's a speed route. If you have an infinite budget, if you have a really big budget and you're just trying to fucking close deals fast for a competition, honestly, I would take that route too. I would just be like, I've got thousands of leads and I just have to call as many of these as possible in an hour. I would take that route.
Yeah. I think, dude, I had a situation, like a client like that where he sent me, he's like, I haven't given any offers out on 30 leads. It's like, well, that's strange. Why not? And give me some calls. And the first call I listened to, that was exactly, their process is like price first. If it's like not 90% of Zillow value, then they don't continue with the call. And
yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, bro, like this guy literally on the phone, he's like, well, I'm flexible on the 500 or whatever. He's like,
oh, you sent me that one.
Yeah. Listen to it. I was like, bro, like this guy wants to sell in 2 weeks and has to. He may not have equity, it may not be a deal, but that dude definitely has a problem that needs to be solved. So
yeah, that's the. I mean, like, here's the thing: you could get a bunch of leads and have like 100 leads or 200 leads, and you will get lucky on one, and the problem is, for most people, they won't stay profitable that way, because there's other people that actually know how to get past when the seller's asking 500,000, they need to be at 320. And so those people are going to stay in business. The ones that are just fishing for the sellers that are close on asking price are eventually they're going to run out of money. Now, if my only goal was speed, right? Like my only goal was speed. Yeah, sure. Just fucking go through all of your leads and ask them how much they're going to get, and then just close the ones that are already close on price. But for 99.9% of people, their goal is not speed. Their goal is efficiency. They want to put $1 in and make $10 out, not put $1 in and make $2 out very, very quickly. You know what I mean? So that's my strategy behind that. So I will, like, if I'm real estate, JOV, for you, your pickup, you're not going to get a lot of pickups, especially if you're on a phone, like a cell phone, and you're trying to call from your cell phone. You're right. You're only going to be able to make 80 calls a day, roughly, before your number starts to get marked as spam. And so what I would be doing is I would try to find the most niche list as possible, like a foreclosure list, and I would be texting them from my cell phone. I would be calling them. I would be leaving voicemails. I'd be door knocking. I would be doing every single angle to try to get those people to talk to me. And then once I get them to talk to me, I'm trying to close every single person. And so it's very, very time intensive, but it's efficient, right? And that's why some people spend $1. I had a conversation with Tyler Austin, and I was like, yeah, I want you to talk to our group about how to maximize with low spend. And he said something interesting. He's like, yeah, well, just so because you have low spend doesn't mean you have low revenue, because of the way they target based off of efficiency. And so if I were you, I would door knock foreclosures. I would cold call foreclosures, and I would just hit every single angle that I can to try to get them on the phone. I'd be texting them. That would be what I would do to try to get my first deal if I have very little money and I have some time.
Yeah, I agree. I just go to REI SIF's website and do it.
Yeah.
Do their deep searching process.
Yeah, I like that. I've had some students that have crushed with that process. With very low budgets, I've been able to. Dude, one of my students, he spent like $1,500, and this was luck a little bit, but he spent $1,500 and he made he closed a $250K deal.
That's great.
It's like, yeah, it was like his first month using that process, and I mean, people get lucky like that. And
Dude.
so
okay, on this point, I'm curious about this, because I just had this happen. So for our family business, basically, like, long story short, I'm running PPC ads for him. For my brother right now. I guess it's our company, whatever. Doesn't matter. And the first lead that came through is like this builder who builds 50 houses a year. And it's like, we paid $20 for the lead, and the lead's probably worth like $500,000, for the company. Like one of those types of deals. You're like, what the fuck?
So this works.
Oh, damn, that's lucky. But then also the balance is like, when you start a new marketing channel, I'd say most of the time you don't get lucky, and it takes like 3 to 6 months to make it work. What's the balance? Like, how do you look at that?
So I think in general, when you have those giant rips and you're trying to figure out if a marketing channel works, take that giant rip. So let's say, like, for example, I've spent $10K a month on PPC, and I just happened to close one deal for $180,000. Well, the marketing agency is going to go, yeah, dude, you got a 3X ROAS, you're profitable. But I would also look at that and go, man, but that's one deal. My average deal size in this market is $30,000. And so that means I would have spent 60 to make 30. And I'm not going to gamble all my marketing dollars on having that happen, like getting lucky for like going another 6 months to maybe close another $180K deal. I wouldn't take that gamble.
I agree.
So I always look at the average deal size, and I learned that from Ren. He was the one that told me about it. He's like, dude, when you have those big rips, you got to look at your average deal size and see if the channel's still profitable. That being said, I think that when you're starting, you're going to have to try more marketing channels than when you're established and you know your business model works. And so, like for example, with us with direct mail, when we started it, I told the agency, I was like, hey, I know direct mail works. Like we'll spend money to make it work because I know once I crack it, it will work. And so I'll lose I'll lose money for a little bit until I can get it to work because I know it can work because I know my sales team is good, and I also know direct mail is a good marketing channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, if you're just starting and you have $15,000 to spend, you can't spend $5K a month for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think you have to go more like, hey, let me try PPL, Facebook, PPC, and see which one does the best. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's tough because if you have an established business, of course you want to make it work. I also think there's a degree of like you have to like learn how to channel works because a PPC lead's different than a Facebook lead, and a Facebook lead's different than a direct mail lead, and the process is all different. So I think you do have to like. I think going into it, you have to know that you're gonna have to be willing to fix what your process is, and I think especially if you have a lower budget, you'll be willing to do that like super fast and like every lead type of situation. Yeah. So, but yeah, I agree. I think that if you don't know you have a process, you might have to bounce around. Plus, like you got to figure out what you're like. It's kind of like throwing a bunch of shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. Like what you kind of naturally gear towards. I feel like that's nice about testing when you're trying to figure out anything because you're like, I don't really know what's going to work. And so finding out what you like lean towards might be also.
I think the other cool part about our industry though is PPL. The fact that like for newbies, not necessarily for really established companies. I think once you're established, you should be going after the big Facebook, PPC, direct mail. Like once you actually have a company running, because all those 3 channels can scale. Yep. Whereas PPL, depending on what market you're in, you might not even be able to get enough leads to actually like get into the mid 6 figures per month, right?
Yeah.
So the cool thing though with our industry is they have people that do the marketing for you that are already good, and you can go and set your budget to $30 a lead or $150 a lead. And they already are doing everything for you. And then you get the refunds on the ones that are junk, which you don't get if you do PPC, you don't get if you do Facebook. So I think that could be a good like starter channel for people that have a really low budget. So what do you, if someone comes and they want you to set up their Facebook, they want to run Facebook with you, what do you tell them is the minimum budget that they need to have?
$1,500 a month minimum. But you're going to be spending if you spend that, you're going to need to be able to spend $3K a month. And then once you spend more than $3K a month, you got to be able to spend more than that on the retainer. But basically the general gist is like, you really need like 10 to 15 grand kind of set aside to like be able to do the channel. Whereas, and like, I think if you want to make any channel work, it's kind of the same process. But the thing I like about PPL, if you're like lower than that on your budget, then you can, if you're lower than like 10 grand total on your budget, you probably need to do like a lot of more manual labor and outbound work just from like a pure spend perspective. Because you just don't have the budget to make it work. Like even if you spend, the thing about it is like no matter what channel you spend, if you spend $1,500 a month, you're going to get like a lead like every other day. It's not going to be a lead every day. And so it's going to take a while to like optimize and get going. Like if you're on PPL and you can spend $1,500 a month, you're going to spend that in like unless you do nationwide campaigns, which is what you probably should do if that's your budget and you want to spend money. You're going to spend
get the $30 leads.
Yeah, exactly. Get the $30 leads. You can't be paying $100 a lead if you have that kind of budget. You just got to I think like if you don't have a budget, you either need to go super deep or you need to go super wide and get a lot lower cost per lead.
Agreed. Yeah. Foreclosures and like one market and you hit them 3 different ways.
Super hard. You pick up a code or something like even go super deep.
Yeah, or you go nationwide and you can do something like property leads and get, or
Yeah,
I speed a lead and get $30 leads and just work those until your fingers fall off. You know?
exactly. Like I think that's the only, because otherwise you just don't have enough. Because if you spend like, for example, like if you're in like a major metro like Dallas, Atlanta, SoCal, New Jersey, New York, insert like your cost per lead is going to be somewhere around 75 on Facebook, right? It's going to be like
That's
65.
good though. That's
Yeah,
really
it's a
good.
good cost per lead. But if you can only spend $50 a day, I mean, you're going to get 10 to 12 leads a month. You're going to be like, man, this doesn't work. It's like, it's not,
Yeah.
you can't really, you got to get more leads than that to get a deal. It's 15 to 25 to a contract. So on Facebook, and PPC is even more expensive, right? If you spend that in a couple markets, like shit, you're going to get like 3 leads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Emmanuel asked, I can give my opinion, but you're a marketing guy. What are the biggest differences between PPC and Facebook leads other than intent? Would you change anything about your process? I don't know what the last question was,
Yeah.
but what would you say?
I think the sales process will probably ask on that. Yeah, I mean the main
Oh,
thing is one, PPC people are looking for you, and so they're like at the bottom of the funnel, right? If you think about the funnel of like the bottom of the funnel being closest to like looking for a solution, so you kind of have like people. There's like different buckets of people, but the main ones that we'd focus PPC is like these people know they have a problem and they're searching for a solution, so they're trying to solve their problem, and so of course they're going to be closest to the bottom.
yeah.
So they're going to be like closest to solving their problem. Like those people are selling their house. Like most of those people are selling their house one way or another. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Whereas like something like Facebook is going to be more like it's going to capture the people who are in that bottom bucket, but also people in the bucket aware that have a problem, but they aren't looking for a solution. So they know they have a problem, but they aren't ready for the solution yet. And so
Mm,
like the way I kind of think about it is like you're still gonna have some one call closes, but you're gonna have less. And like it's gonna take you, you might have to nurture these leads for 2-4 weeks after the fact to get them to actually go over the page. Even longer than that for a lot of these, those types of leads. But it's just a little bit less
interesting.
from what I've seen. It's like I'd say average conversions like 2 to 3 weeks after the offer, rather than like something like PPC is going to be, more like 7 days.
Or right away. Like I know for our team, 80 to 90% of our contracts come from same day.
Yeah.
Like we lock them up right away. And so we haven't done, I know you and I have talked about this, implementing something like Facebook, but that is interesting to think about, is that, yeah, they might not be solution aware, where by the time someone fills out a form on a PPC, they are solution aware. They're like, man, I want to sell my house. I'm looking for options. Where Facebook might be like, hey, I don't really like my house and I saw an option to do this, but I'm not convinced I want to do it yet. So you have to be better. I'm assuming you have to be better at sales if you want to close Facebook leads. You have to have a better process, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think so. I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like closing cold call leads. Like you got to be better at sales to close a cold call lead at the same rate you close a PPC lead.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's
way
just
better.
But it's kind of like I mean, I don't know. It's basic. Like it's not that people don't know about the solution. It's just that they haven't decided what solution they want to go down yet.
Yeah,
In PPC,
that makes sense.
you have probably like, I mean, there's probably 20% of the leads, 30% of the leads that like are like, I'm selling cash to an investor no matter what, and that's what I'm going to do. And then
Yeah.
you probably have another 50% that are kind of like not quite sure yet, and they think they need to sell cash, but they're not sure. And then you have, some that are just like looking around. Whereas Facebook is probably more like 10% are like, I'm going to sell it to someone cash. And then you also have some people who are like, I have a shit property, but maybe you got to them before like the pain, like maybe they just lost their job and they're like, fuck, I kind of might need to scout around for this. And, but they're not like in the pain. They don't have the pain yet to be like, I got to make this decision now. Does that make sense? Like, sense from like the timeline is just sometimes a little further out. And then if you don't filter out, like we made this mistake at first, not filtering for equity, like in Colorado, the market year over year is down 10% in Denver. And so,
Wow.
so one of the clients who runs a lot of stuff in Denver is getting like everything he's getting in Denver. It's like these people are like about to lose their house to foreclosure, but they just don't have any
They
equity.
don't have equity. They bought it last year and they could barely afford the payments, or they lost their job right after. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
we're seeing that in some of our markets too, actually.
if you don't filter those people out, like at least on Facebook, filter out the people who bought their house in the last like 3 years, you get a lot of that
Yeah.
situation. But yeah.
You know what I do like about digital that you can't necessarily do as well with PPC is you can get really good at calling out your exact avatar.
Yep.
So like, let's say for example, you're doing Facebook ads and like I'll say my hometown, Mandeville, Louisiana. I could say, hey, if you own a home in Mandeville, Louisiana, and you don't want to put it on the market because you just know it needs way too much work and you bought it at least 10 years ago, here's what we can do.
Yep.
You know, like I could be like, I could call those things out, and it's harder to do that in ad copy on a PPC, like on a basically in like the little PPC, they have all of those things in there, and people don't read anyway. Like they'll listen, but they don't read.
Exactly.
And so like on our website, for example, I have somewhere on here. Let me just show you. No one reads this, by the way.
Oh yeah, dude, no one reads this jack shit.
I put on my website that we do not buy listed properties.
Bro, do you not just filter that out? Oh, do you not just filter it out in the form?
I don't like doing that because I've done it with YouTube when the cost is super low, but like YouTube and like I would do it on Facebook because you're getting such low cost leads.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the Google Pixel does not work as well as the Facebook Pixel.
Yeah.
The Facebook Pixel, I feel like, has a good idea of what you're looking for, where I feel like the Google Pixel has not caught up to that quite yet.
I agree. I also think they don't need it to be as good on Google because they're just searching the word and it's kind of like segment. Like I'm not a Google expert. I know very little on Google. I've not spent much more than like 20 grand on Google, so I'm not is informed on the algorithm. But if you're like doing, especially if you're doing like an exact match keyword campaign or something close, then you have. I mean, they don't need a very complicated algorithm, you know.
No.
You're right. The hard part is like they just have to decide who to show it to, which that's fucking complicated. If there's no like intent and you're just like distributing at scale of like who, I mean, that'd be like if TV commercials are just like randomly generated. You gotta like that's kind of fucking wild to think about how they would even do that.
You want to hear a crazy win? I just got a text. This is a mutual client. By the way, guys, like people work with both Chandler and I at the same time. So this is Justin. I don't know if you can read this. Can you see it?
Not really, but what does it say?
It says about to make $60K on that land deal. He just locked up a deal. He's making $60,000 on it.
So he asked me if I had any buyers for it.
What did you say?
He asked me if I had any buyers for it. I told him, I said, dude, so that's a fucking good ass deal. It's in Breckenridge.
Oh shit, that's a good place to get a land deal.
It's a fucking good deal. It's good infill lot, and he got it from.
The dude's a savage at sales too. That guy's so fucking good, bro. He's really good.
Yeah, Justin's a beast. He's a good guy.
Yeah. I think that's one of the guys. Like you see the people who are like, oh, that guy can run a multi 7 like 300-400K a month business. I think he's one of the people that. Oh, he said the next door neighbor bought it. But, oh, dude, that's so G. Like just to go, hey, just call the neighbor next door and be like, hey, by the way, you have this land. Do you want to add? If it's a land deal, you want to add to your lot, just buy the thing next door. He said he did some detective work. He just texted that back. It's kind of cool.
That's sick.
60K rips. There's gonna be a lot of people listening, and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, but yeah, he got lucky.
He does cold calling.
Yeah, dude. So like, there's a couple people. I don't know if you know Rohan. He coaches in my group. Like, you have to be so good to be on the level. Rohan is a savage salesperson. He did 100 and I think he said 107K in last month on SMS leads, bro. With just him. Like that's crazy, that's savage, bro. Like that's
sales people,
no acquisitions. He had some setters that help set the appointments, but just him. And that's a high level of skill to go to hit 6 figures a month just SMS blast with one person. You got to be a savage salesperson. That's the only way you're pulling that off, because SMS leads are arguably the hardest to close because they're the lowest level of awareness. They have like you're just texting someone some weird text that doesn't even make sense. That's like, hey, would you consider a proposal on your residence at 547 East Street? It's like, they're like, what? And then you call them and you fucking get them to sell you the house in an hour. You know what I mean? Like that dude's a savage, man. That guy, that's why I brought him on to coach in the group. Is that dude the dude is fucking really good at sales, man. He understands his stuff.
Isn't that crazy to think about that? That's how we started, was texting.
And yeah, me too.
Dude, just thinking about, like, I remember when I told my parents, they're like, how do you get deals? They're like, we just text them.
They're like, what?
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Dude, that's the crazy thing about this business too. Is it doesn't there aren't a lot of businesses that you can get to $100K a month with like a $500 texting platform and a $500 list a month, and that'll get you started enough to start ramping up. Like there's no license. We were talking about this a while ago, like roofing and like starting. Dude, there was a while where I was thinking about starting a mortgage business when I was a mortgage lender. Mm-hmm. And the amount of hoops you have to jump through to start a mortgage business is insane. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
This is the crazy thing about wholesaling. It's like you just get like, you
don't
probably
really need any skills.
Dude, we have like 3 or 4 19-year-olds making 6 figures a month in my group. Yeah. And they're like 18, 19. It's like you listen to them talk and you're like, bro, there's no way you run a multi-7-figure business. And it is the crazy thing about wholesaling is it's like one of the best starter businesses I think you can get into. I think it's hard to scale. It's really hard to exit, and it's hard to, we don't know a lot of people that are doing more than 10 million a year.
Even getting into like more than like 3 or 4 million a year, there's not that many people doing it.
No, especially if you're going after that market, that it's almost non-existent. There might be, I don't know. I don't know the exact number, so I'll pull this out of my ass. I bet there's less than 100 making over 5, mm-hmm. and I bet there's less than 50 making over 10 that are straight wholesaling, making over 10 million a year. I think there are people that are.
If they're wholesaling flipping, I would even say you got to add in like flipping to a degree.
Most of the companies though that we've talked to that are doing those kind of numbers are doing other things as well. Like they're doing developments, they're doing new construction, they're doing wholesaling, they're doing flipping. Yes. They have like a short-term rental portfolio. Like, and think about like Mark Spain and some of the big guys, like they have a brokerage too. Mm-hmm. So they monetize their leads more ways on the back end. But for most people that are watching this, they're not trying to get to 20 million. They're like, man, how can I take home 500K a year and then have this kind of automated so I can go and, go skiing with my friends and rock climbing and all that stuff that you do.
Yeah, you can go. I'll be your guide for whoever wants to do it. As long as you don't suck.
Dude, are you ever gonna fucking man up and start free soloing like Alex Honnold?
Bro, I've free soloed a couple things actually. Nothing hard.
Probably your refrigerator in your house.
Dude, I free solo up there all the time, man. What's
the biggest free solo you've done?
Biggest one I've done. The biggest one I've done is like 1,000 feet, but it was pretty easy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's higher. That's a lot higher than I was expecting you to say. I thought you were gonna say like I climbed up my roof one time.
No. That's 1,000 feet is the biggest one, but it's like one of the flat irons here in Boulder, so it's like it's pretty sketchy. The bottom 200 feet was fucking really sketchy. Actually, I did not like that.
When do you die? When do you die from free soloing? Like what's the height where you're like you're gonna die?
Over 30 feet, bro. It's sketch.
Really? 30 feet you can die. Like you can die at 40 feet.
If I fell on my head, yeah, I'm fucking cooked, dude. 30 feet, you're cooking on the way down. I took a fall on a rope that was like 30, 35 feet. And dude, I fell. I had it long enough. I fell and I looked down. I go, holy fuck, I'm falling. And then I stopped. I was like, it was like a long time. And I was going really fast when I stopped. And I was like, whoa.
Damn.
Yeah, thankfully I just caught in air, so it was fine. But anyways, the other one I did that was like tall-ish, not that tall, but like the harder one that I did was like it was 250 feet maybe. But it was like on this ridge. It was pretty cool. Every rock I touched was loose and moving, so it wasn't super safe.
So it wasn't super safe.
No. Yeah.
By the way,
solo like too much. That's hard.
You know what this reminded me of since we're talking about risk? Remember that quote I sent you? If you don't want to quit once per month, you're not taking enough risk.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we never talked about that.
Yeah, we were supposed to. I forgot who said this. I remember I texted it to you, but I forgot actually where that came from. And I thought it was really interesting. If you don't want to quit once a month, you're not taking enough risk. What do you think about that?
I think that to me, what I resonate with that on is like you're just like eating shit. You know, you're like, for example, you're getting more, kind of like goes back to the thing I posted in my story. You're getting more appointments, you're getting more sales, etc. And therefore you have more shit breaking. You know, you're just fucking breaking shit left and right. And so it feels like there's fires everywhere. Like maybe you have deals falling out. Maybe you have buyers snaking you. It could be anything, right? There's a million, you have people quitting on your team, insert reason after reason after reason. And I think those are the byproduct. Like to me, that's what makes me be like, fuck, dude, this fucking sucks. Like I hate this, is all the extra things, but that all comes from pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. And so I don't know necessarily if it's to me, I don't know if it's necessarily the risks thing. I do think that plays a part in it for sure. Cause you're like, fuck, I'm spending all this money and like, this is what's happening. But I think it's really the byproducts of you pushing yourself is kind of like where my mind goes. I don't know. What do you think? What's your opinion on it?
So there's a famous quote, "Mo money, mo problems." And so it's funny. My sales manager when I was in the mortgage industry, one of the best sales managers I've ever seen. And this dude is freaking balling, bro. Like this dude's loaded. And when I say loaded, I mean like cut like 10, 20, 30 M's in the bank account. More than that, actually, way more. So this dude, but he's just ran a fucking savage sales team, right? And so one of the things he used to say all the time is he would kind of say like the more money, more problems, but he would talk about how the more volume you do, the more headaches you're going to have. And he was like, I don't like headaches, but I do like a big bank account. And so, and he said they don't get easier. You just get better at dealing with them. And so like, I remember when I started the wholesaling business, I would have like, I'll give you an example. This was really early on, like my first year. And we had this deal where we were going to make 40K. And then the buyers reached out to the seller and offered him 20K more and basically just cut us out, like completely cut us out. And I lost sleep over that deal for like 3 nights. Like I was so frustrated. I was so mad. I also had some people I had to pay off. So like I really wanted that money. I needed that money. But dude, it like broke me. I was so pissed. And now if that stuff happens, I'm like, it doesn't even faze me. Like I'm going to go to sleep. I'm the same way I do every single night.
Sorry.
So it happens more often though. Like we have more deals that fall out due to stupid reasons. We have, like I say more frequently and not a bigger percentage, but that kind of stuff happens more frequently where, we have, especially SoCal buyers will hang out after a showing and then try to go talk to the seller and sneak it. And I used to get really mad. Now I don't. So I think that if you want to have, you can't want to have a lot more money and want to have a lot less stress too. You know, like you got to pick one. You got to be like, man, I want to make a lot more money and I'm okay with more stress. I'm okay with more problems. Or you could say, hey, I'm okay with making less money, but I want less stress. And so those are the two ways to look at it. And you know Adam, right? Adam Whitney.
Yeah.
He posted the other day. He said, more deals, less volume, or less like smaller deal size, or bigger deal size and less deals. And like he's just started a debate, and everybody's like, "Oh, I want bigger deals and less volume," and like everybody wants the stress-free option. But I feel like the more you try to chase stress-free, you're actually adding more stress to yourself because you're setting an expectation that it's not going to be stressful.
Yeah. Well, it's like the hedonistic desire, you know. It's almost like leads into that. It's like if you live you know what hedonism is? It's like chasing pleasure. Essentially, it's like chasing. Like think of Dan Bilzerian. You know who that is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's like Dan Bilzerian's life is like a hedonistic life in a way, where he's just like short-term happiness almost. And it kind of is the same way. So you set yourself up to be like, oh, for example, like I don't know, I know you've done a lot of hard physical things. I do a lot of hard physical things. It's like if I run a 50 miler, but I'm thinking like, man, it's only going to be like 10 miles. It's going to be really easy. And then I get in there and I'm 20 miles in and it's starting to get real hard. And I'm starting to cramp. I'm starting to get tired. I'm dehydrated. I'm hallucinating, whatever it is. I'm probably going to quit. But if I go in there like knowing like this is going to be like one of the hardest things I ever do, and like I'm going to fucking then whenever I get there, I'll be like, hey, I was expecting this. It's time to fucking man up and push through it. You know, don't be a bitch. And
dude,
it's like that's how it is in business too.
I can relate to that so much because I remember at one point, so when I first started recon training, I was always thinking conserve my energy, like I was in a selection. So I was always thinking conserve my energy. And everything I was doing sucked so bad because I was trying to conserve my energy, but you know, you can't, like you have to do a certain amount of things. Yeah. And then eventually I stopped thinking about conserving energy and started thinking about trying as hard as I could. And when I started to think about trying as hard as I could, it actually became easier because I wasn't trying to think about making it easy. I was just trying to think about making it like, you know, hey, let me just go and push. And dude, my lifts in the gym have been like that lately. I've been thinking like, man, I want to make this as hard as possible. And it's more fun than if I'm like, oh, I have to do 12 reps. Let me just try to make it easy. Cause it's not going to be easy either way.
No, it's fucking not. Dude,
yeah, it's like, I agree.
It's so true. Like even when I do like a big multi-pitch now or whatever, I'll be like, sometimes I'll be like, okay, don't get pumped. You don't get pumped. You don't want to get pumped so you can hold on because if your forearms get pumped, you got no strength left. Yeah. And it's like, what I really need to be thinking is like, you're going to get pumped. All you got to do is just keep breathing and moving fast, you know, just move efficiently, climb fast. It's like, but if you just change the frame of your thought, like you already know it's going to happen, but you have so much more fluidity with what you're doing. And I'd say the same thing too. It's like with it being hard. So if you never want it to be hard, like you're going to be super disappointed because it's going to get hard real quick. It always does.
Yeah, you got to see if you want to, again, it depends on your goals. If you want to have an easy life and you don't want to make a lot of money and you're just like, hey, I just want to coast. Like, yeah, you can definitely do that. Yeah. But if you want to push yourself to the next level, then just expect it to be hard and start looking for the hard shit and start trying to solve it.
The quote on this topic that I really resonate with, Hermosi said this in his like vlog of the book launch when they did 100 million in the weekend. And he's like, look, he told his team, he's like, guys, we're trying to do something that's never been done before. So expect to do shit that's never been done before. And I was like, fuck, that's like so basic. I was like, so fundamental, but yet so true. I was like, that's the most like accurate statement. It's like, if you're trying to do something you've never done before, it's going to feel like something you've never done before. It's going to feel hard. I mean, that's just the way it works.
I was talking to a guy yesterday who he was kind of like burnt out from all these guys. Everyone, you know, because a lot of the wholesaling gurus out there will tell you that it's easy, right? Like you and I never do that. We never like we don't say that you're gonna have to fucking go like break your back or anything, but we're not gonna sell you on the fact that wholesaling is the easiest. Yeah, like, oh, you could be a complete dumbass and not even try and you'll get a deal. Like, no, you gotta improve your skills. You gotta work at it. But he was so burnt out of like, he's like, yeah, everybody told me that I could just do it part-time and that it was easy. And so I just kind of like messed around. I'm like, yeah, that's why you didn't do any deals, bro. Because if you would have thought about it, like, oh, this is going to be really hard, and I got to freaking grind through this, then you probably would have got one. Funny that mindset stuff actually is important, and I'm coming back full circle to that.
Yeah, we probably make fun of the people like that, but
Yeah.
also at the same time, I don't know. Every time I've like suffered more, it's because I wasn't prepared to suffer, and and I find if I over prepare to suffer more, then it ends up being easy.
Yep.
Never easy, but easy, like less painful, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking physical and mental pain, because I do a ton of things that are physically extremely painful from like mentally exhausting. But yeah, it's I never really thought about it. It's kind of like I'm like realizing it as I'm thinking about it right now. So it's like kind of interesting.
But physical pain is also mental too. I think like the easy part about what we do is we don't really have a lot of physical pain, you know, like we have a lot of mental stress, but like, dude, when you're running a business, it's not a lot of physical pain. That's why Corey and I were talking one time. He's like, yeah, it's not that hard. I mean, you're not in any physical pain. It's not like you're, you know, bear crawling up a mountain with a tire attached to your back. You're just taking sales calls and you're making dials and people are telling you no and you have to push through it. Tyler asked you a question, by the way.
Do I have any Tyler, I don't have any sub twos in Denver. I actually did just talk to one of my clients. We were talking about like the low equity stuff coming through. I told him to send me some. So if he sends me any, you can message me on Instagram and I can save your contact. But they're good deals. I'm probably going to buy them. So sorry.
It's the best part about being us.
Yep.
We get the pick of the litter.
That's right.
Cool, dude. What do you say we wrap it up?
I think we wrap it up, bro. Wrap it up and tap it up. So, sorry.
Dude, when's the next, before we leave, when's the next Level Up event?
Next Level Up event is May 29th and 30th in Austin, Texas. And last I checked, John's son does not have a birthday that weekend. So,
what is it again? What dates?
29 and 30 of May.
Of May? No, I might even still be in the U.S. My sister's getting married in May.
Nice.
Austin is an interesting city. There are a lot of stinky homeless people in Austin. I've noticed that last time I went.
I've heard that. I've also heard it's a cool city. I've never been. So
yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah,
well, cool, guys.
All right.
Well, if you guys want to be at that event and you guys want to meet us in person, let us know. Yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Let's end that. Dude, by the way,